Have you seen Bigfoot? Where could he be? Is he here? Bigfoot is considered one of the most popular urban myths of all time, usually described as a recluse, mythical ape living in the forest, aloof.
There's a very spotty record of primates. Now, there was an ape in Eurasia called Gigantopithecus that was 8 feet tall. In the fossil record, it existed 350,000 years ago. One of the things in the last few decades, people are realizing Beringia, that the bridge between Eurasia and North America wasn't just a little pass of land, it was a huge area. So the question is then, did some of them walk across the land bridge, and are they living here?
Bigfoot itself did not receive much attention in the United States nationally until Andrew Gonzoli and Betty Allen of the Humboldt Times published a letter by a reader detailing large mudded footprints in 1958. After the publication, Gonzoli and Allen received more stories about experiencing similar footprints from all over the area. At the same time, the name Bigfoot was coined by bulldozer operator Jerry Crew, who was working in Bluff Creek, California. Bluff Creek is where most Bigfoot sightings were reportedly taking place, right by the place Gonzoli and Allen received the letter. Stories continued to spread, but nothing groundbreaking was presented until 1967, when arguably the most famous footage of Bigfoot was captured. The footage was shot by Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin in Bluff Creek, the same area where Jerry Crew was working a decade prior. The footage shows the alleged Bigfoot slouched over, looking at the camera and swinging its arms back and forth as it walks by and continues on. While Patterson died in 1972, he and Gimlin believed the footage to be authentic. After the Patterson-Gimlin film, reports across the US showed up with people experiencing similar tall, 7 to 8 foot, dark-haired creatures, footprints in the ground measuring 16 inches in length, loud whoops in the night, tree branches curved and snapped in half, and abandoned shelters are all some similarities that mark the traits of a Bigfoot presence. Throughout the 70s and 80s and even now, Bigfoot has been portrayed as a monster and sexual predator, with paperback books cash-grabbing on the urban legend. On the other side of the spectrum, Bigfoot is presented as a lovable environmentalist. The legend continued when shows like Finding Bigfoot and Killing Bigfoot aired on television, trailing scientists and hunters who interviewed people who've supposedly encountered it. Both shows do nightly investigations in rural areas, gathering scientific evidence like cast footprints and potential DNA samples. Organizations have also set up Bigfoot conventions across the country, varying by state, where people are encouraged to come and share anything they have, from evidence to stories. Despite foot castings, audio recordings, and the Patterson-Gimlin film, there have been skeptics who simply don't believe Bigfoot is real, as there is not a plethora of any new kind of evidence. Hunters are now putting up trail cameras in every crack and crevice of the woods, with none sufficiently capturing Bigfoot as well as Patterson and Gimlin did back in 1967. With the dawn of the internet, it's easier for Bigfoot hoaxes to spread, with more people highlighting the legend for clicks and money rather than proving its existence. This leads to the question, is it even possible for Bigfoot to be real?
This brings up cryptozoology. There are organisms that are really not well known that may exist. When the platypus was discovered, people thought it was a hoax, that there could be no mammal with a duck bill that could lay eggs. But it wasn't a hoax. When I teach genetics, I really dwell on the fact that my students need to know the difference between improbable and impossible. You will see improbable events if you look at enough cases. So in terms of Bigfoot, is it improbable? Yes. Is it impossible? The answer is no.
Other conspiracies describe Bigfoot as an alien from another world, and an entity that can travel through different dimensions by creating portals in the woods. With these hoaxes, more of the general US population think Bigfoot is not real, versus the amount of people who think it is real. Without an official investigation from scientists to confirm the encounters and stories, all that's left is the tales to keep the urban legend of Bigfoot alive. Until new concrete evidence is presented, Bigfoot is still accessible in people's minds as a campfire story, rather than a creature that lives amongst the confirmed wildlife.